The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening. It's the Star Wars Holiday Special Watch-Along, starring Chewbacca and that family he's always talking about. Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and the drugs that made their performances possible. Featuring the first appearance of Boba Fett, if you can believe that. Every Jewish-American vaudeville star in the galaxy. Newt Gingrich. No, not actually, but would you really be surprised if I told you he was in this? With musical guests, Jefferson Starship, who changed their name just for this, and Diane Carroll and the incredible masturbating Wookiee. Introducing Michael Shantz of the How Dare You Awards and Everything Sequel. I'm Tom Stewart of Everything Sequel and Lonesome Whistle Productions. And now, because he's the only one of us likely to have done any research on this piece of shit, here's Shancy!
Thank you for that fabulous introduction.
You're very
Ladies
welcome.
and gentlemen, here we are. Welcome to the Everything Sequel podcast, and we have a special edition for you today. We are taking on the Star Wars Holiday Christmas Special. Tom, why do we have
special edition is not a word that Star Wars fans like to hear.
Well, so why do we have to do this right now?
As in today or this year, or what do you mean?
Right now, yeah, today.
Well, the CBS aired the Star Wars Holiday Special on November 17th, 1978. This was the first ever Star Wars sequel.
Officially.
Yeah, like it or not, and the answer is not. It is. It predates Empire by a full 2 years. Well, not a full 2 years, but a 2 year.
Just about, though.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing this. We're also doing this to launch our YouTube channel, the Everything Sequel YouTube channel.
Yep.
Where you can see our podcasts with artwork. You can look at trailers of the movies we're doing, and other related content. And we wanted to, put some feature-length video content up there. And this is our perverse answer to that.
If for no other reason than to see how fabulous you look today.
Thank you. I've worked very hard on this look.
As I did with mine.
I'm not as high as Carrie Fisher was during the filming of this, but I mean, there's not many humans that can say that, though, is there?
Between her clear drug and or alcohol consumption and Mark Hamill's thick pancake makeup to try and hide his terrible car accident, conjoined with Harrison Ford's listeners on my screen, you won't be able to see it when you watch it, but I have named myself Reluctant Harrison Ford.
And I am holographic wow.
so between Carrie Fisher's drunkenness and Mark Hamill's pancake makeup, you also the meat between those two buns is Reluctant Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
looking as though he'd like to be anywhere else than in this variety show.
Yeah, there's a cocktail of drugs that ensures that they're able to take the screen. Each of the Star Wars leads is able to do any kind of acting at all. Requires an awful lot of both legal and illegal medications. And boy, does it show.
Yeah. I mean, but I think my favorite thing about this entire endeavor was that part of the reason this came about was that George Lucas, for a movie that made, what was it? $400 and something million in its first run.
Sure.
I mean, it's the biggest movie that there's ever been at that time.
Yeah.
But part of the reason this came out was he was afraid that Star Wars would lose footing in the collective consciousness of the country before the second movie came out.
Well, that's a fascinating point, Michael, and I
Just
I also want to add to that this we're gonna have to deal at some point of what we call this. By the way, IMDb says TV movie. I don't think that's telling the full story. But whatever it is, it was directed by Steve Binder, who.
well, there were two directors too, because the one got fired.
Right. Well, so Steve Binder directed arguably the greatest TV special of all time, which is the Elvis '68 comeback special.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it seems that his magic works both ways. For Elvis, it rescued his career from the brink of obscurity, and here it took an artwork at the peak of its popularity, and
right.
allowed it to lose credibility until Empire Strikes Back was released.
Turned it into a steaming pile of dog shit.
Yeah.
Until, like you said, Empire came to the rescue.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to me, and we'll get into this scene by scene, but first of all, I mean, one of the big reasons that we would do this on a show like Everything Sequel, even though it's a TV variety show,
right,
essentially, is that this is dangerously close to becoming Star Wars canon.
Right.
Over the years, even to give you some context, this was, universally panned by critics, disowned by George Lucas.
Right. He famously wants to gather every copy and destroy it, so it could never be seen again. And it never was seen again on television.
On television, that's right. But subsequently, Lucas himself and other Star Wars spin-offs have made it possible for this movie to exist in Star Wars continuity. There's certainly nothing in any of the movies that disproves the existence of the Star Wars holiday special,
including some of the things that you've been seeing in Mandalorian.
Yeah, I mean, I know Jon Favreau is a huge fan of the holiday special, and he's put Life Day in The Mandalorian. Ron Howard's Solo even has a scene where they create an ambiguous translation of whether Chewbacca's looking for his family or his tribe. So it keeps open the possibility that he is this deadbeat dad.
Well, that's my one overriding note for this entire thing is it does not reflect well upon Chewbacca, who's just gone forever from his family, apparently.
Well, that's the only way that you can reconcile this Chewbacca, the Chewbacca of the Star Wars Holiday Special, with the one from Star Wars, is that he is the worst dad in the galaxy.
In the history of in the history of the galaxy, he's the worst.
But even, I was interested to find out that as much as Lucas hated this, even in Revenge of the Sith, the production designers used the Star Wars Holiday Special images of Kashyyyk, the Wookiee planet, to recreate it for Revenge of the Sith when it appears, much to everyone's dislike.
Right.
In Revenge of the Sith. So, that's doubling down on even if you see it as a mistake, that's still doubling down on the mistake.
It's kind of remarkable, isn't it, when you consider how much he has publicly chastised this thing and then yet used it for, kind of reintroducing Star Wars back to us at a time when we'd been waiting a long time for it.
Yeah, and in the bigger scheme of things, there's a lot of milestones in this sequel. Lots of big Star Wars mythology questions are kind of very casually answered here. Right. About the sentience of droids, how language works in the Star Wars universe. The first screen appearance of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And he's introduced in a way that they actually kind of pick up in The Empire Strikes Back. The idea that he's sort of Darth Vader's go-to bounty hunter,
Mm-hmm.
which, you know,
The one he
actually,
can trust.
yeah, where it's like, where actually I was like, that's kind of quite illuminating, because they don't talk about that in The Empire Strikes Back, but it's clearly the case.
Yes.
So add to that, you know, the toy banthas, which J.J. Abrams used in the Star Wars sequels, you know, the idea
Right.
of Star Wars toys in the Star Wars universe. Basically, this is the most important Star Wars film, is what I'm saying. In many,
Can't
many
be
ways.
Denied.
And, you know,
Cannot
it's
be
not,
denied.
for those of you who've not like encountered this before, don't think for a minute that this is something that the stars of the original movie you know, passed on. They are
Right.
in this movie, and a lot of other, probably some of the biggest stars in American comedy, you know, two huge musical acts in this.
Right.
There's no way to dismiss this as like a, you know, like a B production. You know, it's all guns blazing.
Oh no, yeah. They spent all the monies
Yeah.
on this thing. And I mean, you know, but still at the end of the day, despite the world's most talented people
In their
being
respective
involved
fields.
in their respective fields, right? They
not in
you know,
not in Star
when you
Wars.
see when you see the name of Bruce Valanche, you know what you're going to get, right? But he
Well,
himself,
that's a
he
really good
himself has
question.
even admitted that he was using cocaine heavily at the time, which I think is clearly evident in the final product. This thing is like a fever dream.
It explains a lot about the Life Day ceremony. That's
Right,
for sure.
Yeah, this thing's like a fever dream in the final stages of syphilitic death. That's
Yes.
what this is like.
Yeah. Yeah, and you raise a good point there of like, what is this? You know, should we be doing this? Does this set a dangerous precedent? I mean, the clearest way to describe this is like a TV variety show based on a movie.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to
charitable
understand.
Description.
Did you say it's a charitable? Well, I mean, that's the only way you can make sense of it in your mind. Like, everything is either a springboard to a piece of bad comedy or a song.
Right, yeah. But just also think how, I mean, if you're if you're born after 1990 and listening to this, you don't really have a frame of reference for variety shows.
Right, yeah.
So this will just seem even more batshit crazy than it did to us at the time.
Yeah, it's like it's another layer of surrealism in that we don't have these kinds of TV formats anymore.
Yeah. Tom, I remember waiting with bated breath for this to come out and watching it live.
Tell us about that, Mike. You still have a Star Wars t-shirt on.
Yeah.
Which suggests you weren't entirely disillusioned by it.
No, I guess I'm trying to remember back, because I remember thinking, wow, what a piece of shit. But just sort of, okay, so they made a TV piece of shit. And just being done with it. And but like, you know, you're angry in the moment, but it didn't last. Not, you know, I didn't carry it with me and say, I'm not gonna watch Empire. Fucking stupid.
Yeah, I want to find out what they do with Boba Fett, and
right.
I want to find out what happens to Mala and Itchy and Lumpy.
Well, the funny thing too about me watching it back then was, I remember, like, okay, we're talking at a time where if VCRs were out, I mean, they were at the beginning, and we certainly didn't have one yet.
Yeah.
And so back then, like, if you missed something, you just, and you know, based on the behavior of George Lucas after it came out, if you missed it that night, you were never going to see it again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you lamented if you missed an episode of The Dukes of Hazzard or whatever your favorite show was back then. If you missed a single episode, you weren't going to see it unless it got into syndication. And I remember being with a friend and saying we were going to somebody else's house, and it's, 7:50. It's like 10 minutes to 8, and just,
Cutting it close.
running, trying to get to this house in time to make sure we didn't miss it. And so with like, we made it. And then it starts, and you have that sort of quizzical dog. Well, what the fuck is this? Look up, that comes.
Well, I mean,
the
first thing you see is 20 minutes of non-subtitled Wookiee talk.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I think the nation would have been united in that quizzical dog to the side of the head look.
Yes.
Which incidentally is also one of the classic go-to pieces of Wookiee shtick that we see.
Right, exactly. Well, and also to the cocaine-addled, brain of Bruce Vilanch, to that brain's credit, he did say to George Lucas, he said, I don't think we should make this about Wookiees. You'll spend 20 minutes either just reading subtitles or listening to Wookiee talk. And it was Lucas that said, no, it's the Wookiees. And of course, also, the other thing is that he just declared what he wanted and then left everybody alone. So he had no input after that until it came out on TV, at which point it was too late. And he was saying, what the fuck is this? Well, it's what you asked for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of sympathetic to that, but I'm also, in going through it, I realized that there's a lot of great ideas in here. There's a lot of things that I do want to see in the Star Wars universe, and eventually other Star Wars properties would kind of run with these ideas. To me, it's all about the execution. I mean, it is just that there's literally like, I mean, the level of incompetence is staggering. There's even moments in this, and we will be able to go through them beat by beat, where I'm saying, you stop here, this is really good, but it won't stop there.
No, of course not. It goes on and on and on.
There's a bunch of those moments, and I'm going to stand up when we go through it. I'm going to stand up for a lot of the ideas in this. But I mean, I cannot defend the execution.
No, I think rather famously, this special was going to, I believe, be a half hour at first, and just kind of kept expanding into 2 hours because they just wanted to, whatever, own the night. But to your point, you have an idea. I mean, think about sketch comedy or sketch writing in general, or the kind of things you would see in a variety show. All of that works if you're doing it for 3 minutes. When it expands to 18 minutes, then you've got problems.
You got dead air.
Right.
Just to jump in, we're getting close to, we're running to the house, a la young Michael Chance. This is the other reason we're doing this is Mike is launching a new podcast.
Indeed. And
we thought that this would be a great way to kind of introduce people to that podcasting world that you're creating. So would you like to tell us a little bit about the How Dare You podcast and how this how a property like this maybe fits into what you're talking about?
Well, the How Dare You podcast is an offshoot of the How Dare You Awards, which honor the biggest wastes of valuable production dollars in Hollywood for the past year, but with love.
Yeah.
We love movies. I even love bad movies.
Yeah.
I've never particularly cared for or liked, say, the Razzies, because the Razzies will just tell you your movie sucks in 10 different ways. You get nominated or win. They usually just hammer out one movie, The Love Guru, worst actor, worst actress, worst director, worst writing, that kind of thing. And we always wanted to come at it, and the How Dare You Awards have been around for over 2 decades. and
Wow.
acknowledge that, look, nobody sets out to make a shitty movie. Nobody set out to make a terrible holiday Christmas special, but it's what happened. And we can kind of, enjoy. And I equate this special and the How Dare You Awards to sort of like, oh, what's it like? It's like an ugly Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
You either revel in finding and wearing your ugly Christmas sweater, or you want nothing to do with it. You're just too serious a person for that. I am not too serious a person for an ugly Christmas sweater or poking fun at some deliciously terrible movies. And so each week, my partner and I, Michelle Chu, who I call my movie novice, I'm a movie nut and she's a movie novice, and we will watch a terrible movie and
See, I've
report
seen
back
that
to
movie
our
Nuts.
findings.
I've seen that movie Nuts and Novices.
Right.
It's but it's of an adult erotic persuasion.
Okay. But the fun part too, the How Dare You Awards were created in the idea of how dare you have made me sit for 2 hours through that movie. But at the same time, when I'm talking with Michelle, often our conversations will remind me of something, and I'll say, have you seen this movie? And she says, nope. And I think, how dare you not have seen that movie?
There's a meta how dare you in the How Dare You podcast.
So it will occasionally flip, and I'll say, how dare you, Chu, not have seen that movie? And we will watch a good movie, and we will report back the findings of, the first one we did was Jaws. So she had never seen Jaws, and we're reporting back somebody seeing Jaws, a 1975 film, for the first time in 2020.
And that's a how dare you
teachable moment.
Michelle Chu, not how dare you Steven Spielberg.
Exactly right.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I know. I mean,
and obviously the Christmas special, that's a perfect fitting puzzle piece for the How Dare You Awards. And
well, it is, and
podcast, and
as we go through, I think we'll find, we the reputation of this special precedes it.
Yeah.
But what I kind of like about doing it this way, a little bit of How Dare You podcast, a little bit of everything sequel, is that, it's legitimate. This
right.
is this needs to be taken seriously.
Right.
So I think, all those caveats really kind of help frame this in a way that we can feel a little better about having done it. Dare we declare good or bad, which is what we do on the Everything Sequel podcast? Is there any discussion?
Well, we might have to wait till the end.
Okay, let's wait till the end.
I will be watching this for the first time since 1978 in full.
Well, that in and of itself is a reason to do it.
Yeah.
You're going to be horrified.
I'm excited.
But you might have some
crazy is how much I remember.
Insight into your adult nightmares.
If for nothing else, I'm sure I'll have an overwhelming sense of how much Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill will kind of feel like they're essentially the tigers to Siegfried and Roy, forced to entertain us.
And we always try to get some in Everything Sequel. We do a ranking of the sequels, and
Sure.
we are going to cover this. Don't worry, this isn't us trying to get out of watching the Star Wars sequels.
No,
we are going to do that separately. But let's give our viewers, listeners, whatever you want to call it, some insight into where we would put this in the Star Wars franchise. Where in the big scheme of the Star Wars franchise, where does this stand up? Is it, go ahead.
Well, my first thought was most likely behind the original film, Star Wars, and its, Empire, Jedi, probably even behind 7, 8, and 9, but in front of 1, 2, and 3.
Hmm.
Because I
Interesting.
really don't like those movies.
Huh. I
But
mean,
again, haven't seen it since 1978.
right. My feeling is it's like it's the last piece of the puzzle of kind of OG Star Wars. And it kind of straddles. It's actually a really nice kind of breakwater between the original trilogy and the prequels to me,
Mm-hmm.
because you know if you thought about this, you wouldn't be so surprised when the Phantom Menace came out.
That's true.
You would see all of this coming like 20 years before it happened. But at the same time, that there's a lot of, I think a lot of what we understand as the Star Wars universe comes from here. And it's interesting how
True.
many
Yeah.
moments it's like things people will talk about as if they're a given in the mythology of Star Wars. I'm like, no, that's just holiday special.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, and the other thing is, I think that, because what I do remember from my initial watching was about 40 minutes in, thinking, how much more of this is there? And the
I
answer
actually,
is, like an hour and a half more almost. So,
yeah, I have watched this quite recently, and I believe I said that after 10 human seconds.
mhm.
And let's not forget, we're working on human time here and human pop music. So
There you go.
it's a it's a very interesting, and dare we? Since while we're on, how dare we pitch a sequel to specifically the Star Wars Holiday Special? That's our other segment. Our other kind of running segment is we pitch a sequel
Correct.
that is yet to be made to a specific movie or set of movies. And I mean, I have some ideas, so
Yeah, that would be kind of delicious, I think.
we could maybe
Well, I like that idea.
yeah, we could cap this off maybe by
At the very least, who would you have starring in your latest Star Wars holiday special?
For me it'll be, I mean, there's so many unanswered questions about all these characters, right? I think it is, and this is something we talk about in sequels all the time. I think this is a unique situation where you have to double down on all your mistakes. For me, for one of the great this is when we get to the Star Wars.
I love that.
when we get to the Star Wars movies, we'll talk about how my greatest disappointment in the prequels is that there isn't enough Jar Jar Binks in the second and third movies. Not because I want him there.
You.
Not because well, there you go. Not because I want him there in any fashion, but I'm like, you started this, George Lucas.
I see what you're saying.
Don't you let common sense and audience response and what the critics say take this gargantuan lizard monstrosity out of this movie. So I think this is another situation where it's like this is gonna, my sense of a sequel would be Marla, Lumpy, and Itchy forward.
Of course it would be.
Which is also, also have a stew recipe which is very similar.
All right. Well, let's save it.
Yeah, no, let's save it as we go on. And hey, we've got about 40 minutes of grunting. Yeah, where we have to talk about something. So we don't need to cover it all now. Let's get to it. Yeah, let's get this. We're doing this live, everybody.
Live and in person, kind of.
I still want to see you. Can I see you? And
you should be able to.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Are you ready, sir, to hit play?
Let me get full screen up, but
Let's go, you mechanically challenged misfit.
Okay, yeah, let me, hang on. I say we would cut this, but we don't have the ability to do that. All right. I'm trying to get you on. No, I'm trying to get you on the screen. Oh, I can't minimize this when I'm recording this meeting. This is a sort of tutorial in Zoom. So I might have to go blind to you.
All right.
So to me, you're just going to be part of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Perfect.
Another audio layer. But I'm ready when you are.
All right. Hang on. Let me plug in. So I don't have to worry about it.
I didn't get a chance to do my quotable. We always have a quotable from the movie.
Oh, go ahead.
We do everything special. Mine for this week is the whatchamacallit, the thingamabob, the mind evaporator. That's it, the mind evaporator.
Perfect.
Is a line from this.
All right. I'm ready. Are you?
Surely am.
And in 3, 2, 1. Again.
It's
preempting
already
the Incredible
disappointing.
Hulk. Nothing was more exciting to me than seeing that special twirl in rainbow colors. That's when you knew you were going to see something good. This is the exception that proves that rule.
So it's already disappointing viewers by preventing them from seeing the Incredible Hulk and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this looks fairly legit as a Star Wars movie to me.
Yeah.
I think there's a real bait and switch here. I mean, it's obviously like stock footage from the original movie, but, you know, we've got the original leads. The costumes look right. The sets look right. First mention ever of Chewbacca's family. Space Thanksgiving.
I just like that hug. To me, it was like Chewbacca was saying, "You're such a mensch."
And yeah, I mean, I don't think they hug in any other Star Wars movie. So that's a big moment emotionally. I got a commercial. Did you get a commercial?
Yeah, I've got a commercial.
Okay. Well, at least we're syncing on the corporate. There we go.
You want to hit skip ads?
Yeah.
All right, I'm back on.
Yeah, me too. One of things I like about his haircut's Mark Hamill's haircut's even more lesbian than in Star Wars. I didn't think that was possible.
He looks like Dorothy Hamill.
He does. Who he's related to. They could not find like a roll call image of Carrie Fisher where she doesn't look high. Okay, all looking normal so far. This looks like Star Wars to me. And this is where it all goes wrong. If you fell asleep during the roll call and dreamt the second half of it, it would not be any stranger.
Right. Tell me where you are. What minute?
Art Carney. Diane Carroll. The Jefferson Starship.
What minute are you on yours?
2:45.
All right.
It feels like a sequel. We've got the lion's share of the legacy characters, and we've strapped a bunch of surrogates on them.
Right.
The credits are really prejudiced against the people who are in buckets. Like David Prowse and Kenny Baker get nothing.
Right.
All to do that stupid joke about R2-D2 playing himself. So Chewbacca's family lives inside a painting of a treehouse.
Correct. This kid takes a bow with his plane.
What are your first impressions here, Mike?
What the fuck?
My first impressions are Marla is clearly a man.
Right.
Which is Lumpy the kid?
Correct. Lumpy is the son.
Lumpy is a
Mala is the mom. Itchy
Uh-huh.
is dad.
Lumpy is a midget acrobat. And I don't know what is inside Itchy to
Oh my
make that
gosh.
happen.
But also their names are like, you know, Adachita Cook, Malatola Buck, and Lumpawaro.
No, really?
I swear.
Well,
Those
that's
are the
not
full
said in the
names.
special anywhere.
Those are the full names.
Now, this is one of the first ideas that the special has that I want to stand up for, because,
Good God, what?
well, I think there's too much English in Star Wars. Oh, sorry,
Okay.
Galactic Basic. I like the idea of like hearing an alien language without subtitles. I think there should be more of that in Star Wars.
Do
But
you like hearing it for a half hour?
no, I don't like hearing it for a half hour. And I kid you not, there are like 2 points in the first 10 seconds of this sequence where I thought, you could call it a day now, and we get the point.
Yeah. I like that Wookiees wear aprons as well.
And, you know, I'm like, you know, as with the How Dare You Awards, I don't just want to say this is bad acting or this doesn't work or whatever, but I don't think the mime skills of the actors inside the Wookiee outfit are strong enough to carry a silent sequence.
Right.
And like a non-dialogue
I
sequence.
gotta tell you, like I'm getting a good look at Lumpy right now, and Lumpy looks like your mask.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Well, let's do a visual comparison.
Is he walking on the? Is he doing a balance beam?
Yeah, he's on the
For you?
tight. He's doing his little tightrope act, which makes me think that he's a midget acrobat. But also this is the, you know, this threatens to have some stakes to it,
Does it?
and it's a call. You know, it will be a callback later on, but nothing is made of the fact that he is endangering his life, and they don't notice. Like Chewbacca, this family is pretty hands-off when it comes to parenting.
It's nice to know, however,
Oh.
that
Character looking at a photo of
no.
of a character from the
Tom's-
original movie.
Tom's favorite thing.
It must be a sequel. So this is a new segment I want to try and pilot
Pitch.
here.
Yeah.
The imbas. It must be a sequel.
Right.
And that's my first imbas here. It must be a sequel because a character is looking at another character from the original movie who isn't there in a photograph.
Yes. Can we talk for a second about how alien life forms still have a sense of family rooms like humans?
Yeah. Well, this is an overall weird thing about this. I don't think what you're looking for in a science fiction fantasy movie is to see your own home on screen, right?
Right.
But that's the heart of this special is that it's a mirror on your own situation.
Yeah. And the whole sensibility of this whole thing is again taken from Bruce Valanche and
what do you think's going to come up on the table? What do you think's going to come up on the table?
I think it'll be the game. Oh boy, was that wrong. Shit.
We've seen too many J.J. Abrams films.
Yeah.
We're like we're predisposed to think hollow chess is going to come up. But no, it's for those of you who are just watching us and not the special, it's How would you
Well, first
describe
of
it?
all, stop. Like, start watching the special. Get your shit together, because you're missing it right now. Let me tell you're missing everything.
They're dancers, right?
Oh, see, now when Lumpy hit that button, I assumed he was turning it off for all of our sakes. But
No,
no,
he's not turning it off.
he was making it life size.
And that's the problem here, is that it provides a good break from the grunting to watch these dancers flailing about.
I think you're being generous when you say a good break.
But it also feels like this goes on 20 minutes too long.
Oh,
You need to replace it with something that is not equally laborious. I mean, I like what they're doing.
you do.
It's obviously it's showing some skill.
It's certainly what we thought of as going to the circus at that time.
Yeah.
There was no Cirque du Soleil yet, so it was all Barnum and Bailey.
Well, that's a good historical note.
There you go. Lumpy's into it.
I like you. I'm fascinated about what these buttons on the console can do to the holographic images,
Mm-hmm.
because it sort of presupposes that you can kind of create your own version of
got
the
a real,
circus act.
In sound and music, it's got a real Flash Gordon. I wonder if somebody ended up making that movie that was involved with this scene.
I mean, in the era of Zoom, it's fairly visionary, I think, because it's all about making the holographic images bigger and smaller, depending on your personal taste.
Eh.
We've gone right back into grunting. And again, like it
Is the
takes me
assumption that we missed it?
no, but it takes me a few seconds to understand what they're trying to convey through grunting. I think that's the problem. Oh, here we go.
Oh, technology.
And I think this is where we get a big mythology.
Dump.
Yeah, you have reached traffic control. That is the first and possibly only time we see written English or Galactic Basic in Star
Galactic
Wars.
Basic.
Because if you were to go off the other Star Wars movies, Tic-Tac-Toe for some reason,
Yeah.
if you were to go off the other Star Wars movies, there's no such concept as written English. It's all Aurebesh.
Mm-hmm.
Did a channel logo just come up on your screen?
Yeah.
I'm sure they do this all the time, but there is no better time to remind people that they haven't fallen asleep. Now, Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker and R2-D2 are appearing on an undisguised microwave oven.
Did you see how much he was listening there?
He says one of a time, as if the problem was that they're overlapping.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the problem. Would he be able to understand them if they spoke separately?
It does seem that by Empire, he understands the Wookiee language now. So maybe this is just the first moment.
Well, later on we hear that
he's worked hard for a year on Wookiee language.
And later on we hear that no one else can understand R2-D2. Oh, my God. Let me just put this in context. This character just destroyed the most advanced weapon in the galaxy, and he can't tell the difference between a photograph of his friend and the real thing.
And whether he's there.
I think Obi-Wan Kenobi was operating him John Malkovich style.
They're a couple of assholes. Don't
He's a
worry
deadbeat
about it.
dad.
Should you be surprised that he's a disappointment at this point?
Well, he has never missed a life day. That's an important point. Basically, if I get the feeling if he turns up for life day, all is forgiven.
Yeah, right?
Which again just makes him seem more like this, this bad dad. Christmas and Easter, that's your lot.
Now, wait, do I have this right? Because we have Itchy as his dad, Mala is his mom, Lumpy is his son. Wife? Do we ever have anything to do with his wife?
No, Marla's his wife.
Is that right? So that's
She's got to be. I mean, I wouldn't put it past this special for that to be Chewbacca's mother, but that's his wife.
All right.
Yeah, because it says in the roll call, his wife Marla, and that's the only information we have.
Oh, 4468. No, 446B.
Is that bad or good?
I don't know.
But Wookiees can read English, they just can't speak it.
So, I mean, we're like 15 minutes in, right, Tom?
Something like that.
And what has happened? In 15 minutes, all they've established is that Chewie's not there.
Yeah.
Boy, do I.
I mean, they really missed the chance to go, you don't need to see your identification, right?
Yeah.
What is going on with the dubbing of that Imperial Guard?
Yeah.
As if that's the big problem here, that we couldn't hear what he was saying.
Also, it's like they're going for a Spaceballs kind of helmet.
Yeah. Yeah.
He looks like Lord Helmet. Or Darth Helmet.
Dark Helmet, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I said Darth. Dark.
How dare you?
I know.
What did you think while nothing is happening once again? What do you think of that Luke R2D2 chicanery?
It's exactly what you'd expect.
Yes.
From this special.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like that I like this everyday sense of how ordinary citizens evade the Empire.
Right.
It's nice. I mean, okay, that code saying Han Solo shouldn't be too hard to crack.
No, yeah.
That's just his full name.
If you're working for the Empire, you might want to clue in.
I gotta go back to Mr. ADR here.
Right. Yeah, twice now. I said it twice.
See, that was good. That interaction was good. It made sense. It was in-world. It told me something about Star Wars. This is just bad comedy. You know what this really reminds me of? Richard Lester Superman. Everything is about getting to the gag.
Yeah.
I mean, without the talent, obviously. It's never a gag you want them to get to here, like it is in Superman.
Laser outlet.
Wait, is that the same voice he had before? He sounds like he's been replaced by a thinner, smaller man in the ADR room. Ugh. Stock footage.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, isn't that the footage we saw at the beginning? Now, a lot of this footage, as I understand it, was stuff that was cut out of Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, it totally makes sense to do the to just like redub stuff from the original.
Mm-hmm.
That makes from outtakes. That makes total sense. But they do it so badly, and it's weird to hear Darth Vader say "household." I don't know why. Back in the painting of the treehouse.
Yep. Meh. Lumpy, such a scamp.
He's a little scamp, yeah. Oh, the cooking lesson's coming up, isn't it?
Oh, that's right. Oh, here it goes. I don't know. Harvey Korman in blackface, basically.
Yeah, it's hard to understand what it's a satire of something, but I don't know what it's a satire of.
Julia Child, I think.
Yeah, a little bit of Julia Childs, but like you say, the blackface kind of complicates that a little bit.
I think that's just trying to make it an alien, which is problematic, to say the least.
I like how your explanation makes it more racist.
Exactly. Oh, wow.
You just get the close up. Is that what that reaction was? Yeah. Now, this is obviously the comedy is really broad. It's sending up TV cookery stuff.
Yeah.
But again, it's a lot of things that we've seen in The Mandalorian. You know, this like people eating monster meat.
Sure.
So again, the idea is not bad. It's just everything that they do with it.
I was reading something that said, I love the quote. It said, Harvey Korman is a comedic genius with impeccable timing, and something like he's got a fussy persona who provided me with countless hours of entertainment. He was also in this.
Yeah. And boy, is he in this.
Yeah.
I mean,
4 characters?
Three, at least three, maybe 4.
Okay.
And in addition to like answering lots of questions about Star Wars mythology that are on our minds.
Is that just a pail?
That's a bucket. That's
just
a full
bucket?
Yeah, I mean
God damn it.
There's no consistency over like they're brutes, but they're also completely domesticated at the same time.
Have faucets. They have plumbing.
They have plumbing, yeah. That is one kitted out treehouse.
Oh man.
That's the kind of liberties you can take when you live inside a painting of a treehouse.
Stir, whip.
Stir,
whip, stir,
whip,
stir, whip. That man alien's got some big tits.
Really does. And
he's losing his hair.
So there's TV in the Star Wars universe.
What's that?
This is the first time we've learned that there's TV in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And what a way to learn.
Here's a bit.
Here it is.
Third arm bit.
That's literally the only joke here.
That is the only joke, right?
And he has a third arm with which to cup his big alien breasts.
Oh, wow.
I would say that this is like weirdly sexual if I didn't know what was coming up.
Yeah, if I wasn't fully aware of what's next.
This is the thin end of the sexual overtone wedge.
Rightly so.
I agree with
Rightly
you, Marla.
so.
Turn that TV
Mala
off.
turns that shit off.
Yeah, Marla, just fucking turn it off.
I've had enough.
Even Marla's had enough.
That cake stand looked like the top of an R2 unit.
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw, that they communicate via microwave oven.
Yeah.
Stock footage. It must be a sequel. This is my second imbas. It must be a sequel because we're about 25 minutes in and most of it has been footage from the original movie.
Right.
It's funny. I know he's not bringing his A game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good gag and he does it well. Where he says to Chewie, "You can say that again," instead of translating what he says.
Right.
That's a good gag. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Mike! Have I lost all perspective, or is that a good gag?
Oh, Jesus. The Atari alarm went off. That guy will be falling in love on the Love Boat soon.
I think he's got a Matlock in his future as well. Who's at the door? There's somebody at the door. There's somebody at the door.
Come on. Go ahead. Come on, Itchy.
Let's send the old guy who's about to die. Yay! It's Art Carney.
Yay, Art Carney.
Great.
Oh, fantastic.
He delivers that really well. It's a good bait and switch, right?
If you say so. You thought they were selling the Imperial Stormtroopers pretty hard there?
Just a touch. Ugh. This is where it gets uncomfortable for me.
You know where this should have gone?
Well,
when Lumpy came up to hug him, he should have just punched him right in the face.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
I'm giving you the gift of the Jefferson Starship. It's so pervy.
Yeah, I don't think you should withhold presents until you get your kiss.
Oh. Because what I kind of like about the Art Carney character is that he's Toy Bantha.
Yeah, hey.
That's where J.J. Abrams got the idea of people having Star Wars toys in Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm.
Twice he did, or twice the sequels did it. I guess once was in Rogue One. And in many ways, this is the Rogue One of The Empire Strikes Back.
How dare you?
Because they do way more with this character kind of in the story than they do all the other comics.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh. Is he gonna get a
Porn.
perm?
It's porn. No.
Oh no, that's right. This is the porn.
The word you're looking for is porn, Art Carney. Oh. Oh.
God damn it.
Look at how he's gurning. Oh.
Chomping at the bit. Oh, wow.
In a single literal stroke, Star Wars invented internet porn, the JOI genre, and the PMV format.
Art Carney throwing down the porn.
Yeah, for those of you who don't have access to the special itself, Art Carney's just given Itchy a masturbating machine. Which
in the form of a hairdryer, but it's not a hairdryer. It's a hairdryer that's been turned into VR.
It's a hairdryer that makes you wet. And there's
wow,
fish women inside.
Yeah. Now, does this look like the beginning of a James Bond movie to you?
I think that's, when's Moonraker? 1979?
Oh, now we got the Batman wheel going.
That is literally the way that the credit sequence for Moonraker ends.
Yeah.
And that was 79. So
what are we looking at now? Is this a vagina trying to come into focus? Oh, I see. Nope.
Oh,
I'll bet you can.
She's just said, I could feel your creation.
Miss Carol, right?
That's Diane Carroll, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
The thing about this is not like subtext. Everyone is reacting as if this is a masturbating.
Exactly what it is, right, yeah.
Diane Carroll is orgasming.
I want you to pull your fuzzy pud.
Itchy's doing his cum face. I don't know how this passed broadcast standards.
I don't know.
I guess because they didn't, just the concept of internet porn wasn't around. So you wouldn't think it was a reference to it. He's even playing back the most erotic moments.
Yes.
As if he's controlling like a video on the internet.
Let's see that again, shall we? Boop. Let's see that again, shall we? Boop. Let's see that again.
This is depressingly visionary about what we have for entertainment now.
Right? Bruce Valanche. And then somebody else. Who else was heavily involved in the writing? The Crofts or the Profs?
You tell me. I refuse to do research on this one. It was Dave Filoni, isn't that right? That's right. I said it. This is the kind of thing Dave Filoni would have been doing if he was around then.
What the hell is happening? Wow.
There are lots of problems here, but I think one of the biggest for me is that people complain about when too much of our world is in Star Wars movies. Mm-hmm. Probably the worst example being the stormtrooper saying goals in The Rise of Skywalker, like he's talking in hashtags.
Right.
But this is like Earth music. There's no precedent for this kind of music in Star Wars. All we know about Star Wars music is that it sounds like
it sounds like the beginning of a Muppets episode.
Yeah, that's right. Music in the Star Wars universe is sung by Muppets. That's
or
all
if
we know.
It's created by banging on the helmets of stormtroopers by Ewoks
after having eaten their flesh.
I assume.
I always assumed that. Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were going to eat Han Solo and Luke.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Wow, man.
I guess you do need like a porn interface for a Diane Carroll ballad to work within the world of Star Wars.
It was the only place they could go. Oh my goodness.
This this is a this is a long musical number.
Man, that dress looks like a hook to find the G spot or something. I don't know what's going on there.
And we're still in the Moonraker credits as well. There's lots
Yeah.
of kind of like fish women in the background. I guess Diane Carroll's kind of got a Shirley Bassey quality to her as well. So I hadn't thought about the Bond connection. I'm surprised you brought that up rather than me.
Right?
That's a first. That's a first on Everything sequel. Mike, apropos of nothing, Mike mentions James Bond
Before Tom.
before. So is she a mermaid?
Yeah, right?
I actually know from IMDb her name is Mermea.
Oh my God.
So but even that connection is not made clear. There's no sense, like this isn't connected enough that you think that the fish women that appear at the beginning are the same species that.
Yeah, right? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, now
Oh, wow.
this is like Doctor Who opening titles now. We're just trying to rip off every major British pop franchise in one sequence.
Are you offended on behalf of your country?
No, I mean, yeah, you got to work with graphically what's out there.
It looks like the inside of a beehive.
Wow. Oh.
Can I get a towel?
Oh. Yeah, I wouldn't want to clean up after one of Itchy's orgasms, would you?
No.
And again, this is something we didn't. They're feeling out things that make it into the Empire Strikes Back. Because here's Leia and C-3PO, not C-3PO and R2-D2.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had Luke and R2-D2.
Alone.
Yeah. So this is like, they obviously thought they would run with that idea. I like the fact they're drawing the line at C-3PO translating them, but not 15 minutes of grunting.
Mm-hmm. Now, we didn't talk about this yet because I remember that in the opening credits, they make a point of Anthony Daniels, but disrespect Kenny Baker.
Oh.
But apparently Kenny Baker was not involved. It was just
okay.
Remote controlled robot or something.
So it really was R2-D2 as himself.
Yeah.
For the first time ever, that joke is not a joke.
Right.
And I hate to say it, but apart from The Rise of Skywalker, this is the only time we see C-3PO acting like a protocol droid. There's two instances of that in Star Wars of him doing what he's programmed to do, and it's here when he sets up the communication, and in Rise of Skywalker when he does the Lonely Planet guides
he's
to this,
translating shit in Jedi.
Festival is.
He's translating in Jedi.
I don't think that's what he's supposed to be doing, though. Wookiees.
Wow.
Yeah, everything comes down to a terrible gag.
Yeah. You know what's funny about Star Wars 2 is they always are able to land on a planet. Like here, it's like they can't get where they want to, so they just go to the other side of the planet.
They have to do what the stock footage tells them to do.
But, imagine like you wanted to come to San Diego, California, but your Millennium Falcon could only get to China.
Yes.
You're still a good ways away.
But also, it's a coded way of telling the viewer we've got another hour or so of this. Now this is a really good bait and switch.
Dun dun dun.
Stormtroopers.
Holy shit.
That's great. That's an authentically dramatic moment. Because they, it's like the final scare in a horror movie. Everything makes you think it's going to be okay, and it's
such as it is, Tom. Such as it is.
I have a feeling they will do something that will.
Again.
I have a feeling they will do something that will undo what's good about that moment.
All these guys with the dark helmets look like they just went onto a water slide or something and got their face pushed back.
Yeah. The question is he going to speak in his own voice?
I want this guy to speak.
Yeah, the way he's walking around, he's doing the Nazi officer glove thing. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, mouth not even moving.
My guess is he's not British, though.
His mouth wasn't even moving.
Well, that was Dark Helmet.
Yeah. Oh, it was? Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's just the rule that all the Dark Helmets are dubbed?
Hang on. Yeah.
Art Carney.
I don't know. The second he came on, I'm like, that guy's not British. And usually they're always British.
Not always. They're either British or very, very dour American. And this guy, I actually think he might be European, though. That's not Vigo from Ghostbusters, is it?
No.
Ghostbusters 2. For a moment then, when you said the thing about Star Wars 2, I thought you were conceding that this was a legitimate Star Wars sequel. And I got very excited.
Uh-oh.
So Art Carney has a role to play here, for sure. Like, he actually is doing something in the story. Like, he's trying to distract them.
Right.
And then he does something like that, which ruins it all. This is the closest to real drama that we get in the whole thing, I think.
Yeah.
And once again, they missed the chance to say, you don't need to see our identification. I guess they didn't have a sense of how iconic a line that would become.
That was subtle.
He's a nice go-between of like the variety show part of this and the Star Wars part of it. I kind of quite like the job he does.
You say so.
Let me show you how I make this toaster oven turn into the Jefferson Starship. This is probably taking the credulity a little too far. That you could just make an Imperial Guard sit down and watch a toaster oven
for 20 minutes.
God. And again, like, I was starting to like the tone of this scene, and you've got Art Carney swatting imaginary flies.
And here we go.
There's a rock band in here.
All right.
There's a rock band trying to change their image in here. I have to say, I've been listening to this track all week.
Have you?
Yeah, I think compared to Diane Carroll and how like earth sounding she makes the musical section in hers, this sounds like something that could have been recorded in Star Wars universe, right? Right? Mike! Mike!
Right. Oh, shit.
It's like electronic prog rock is far more in universe to me. It's a great song as well. Really great song. I have this on vinyl. I just happen to have this on vinyl. There's not like a Star Wars holiday special soundtrack on vinyl that I have. The Imperial Guard is really digging it.
Yeah, he's into it. He's tapping.
He's tapping his little glove finger.
Imperial troopers can be people too.
What do you think they told him was like on the toaster oven to get him to get that reaction?
Right?
I don't think it was this.
That's a hot microphone.
So is it an urban myth that Jefferson Airplane changed their name to Jefferson Starship just to do this?
Well, you mentioned that earlier. I was going to ask you, actually. If you
Oh,
knew
maybe I made it up. I have literally no evidence. Oh, the guy on guitar looks so much like Derek from Spinal Tap.
Oh, I need another look.
Harry Shearer. Oh my God.
I saw a flash. One of them looked like John Denver.
So why aren't the Jefferson Starship in the porn machine?
Why aren't they in the what?
Why aren't they in the porn machine? Why are they in this?
Yeah, right?
I don't really understand how media works in this universe. Do you? You can watch TV like on a screen at home like we do, on a toaster oven.
Well, because there's different shit in different places too. There's stuff like there's screens hidden in the shelves. There's warning systems. Like right next to the kitchen, there's a screen in the kitchen to watch Julia Child's Alien.
But isn't that because they're the family of a known rebel associate? Isn't that what that's a reference to?
I don't know.
That they're essentially hiding from the Empire.
Oh wow!
Art Carney's
just looking at his masterwork.
Steve Binder must have been like, look, we don't know what's going to be on this toaster oven yet, but look like you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
And also, how does this? Art Carney does a literal old man trying to do Elvis there.
That was great.
I also don't understand and Art Carney waves his hand as if they're going to be holographic, but they're not. Like, could you put a version of this on the holo table? Is my question.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Is all this stuff compatible, or is it like Microsoft?
They've shown us
Apple?
At least 3 devices that all do the same thing, right? Do I have that right? 3 separate devices that essentially do the same thing?
But maybe, I don't know whether the dates work for this, but this whole idea of having a TV in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought that, TV was going to become part of kitchen equipment, And that's why we see Luke Skywalker on a microwave oven.
Do you think this was the beginning of TVs in kitchens?
I think this is the beginning of the
That was
21st
great.
century.
Our work here is finished. So in the narrative, all of this was to what? Because it looked like Art Carney was trying to delay them.
Yeah.
But now he's just leaving. So delay them for what?
Well, they've already said that they're done. They haven't.
That's
they're
true.
gonna. Yeah. I mean, I get the basic idea that he's trying to distract them and delay them. But
Whoa.
oh,
Are you sure?
The Imperial officer clicked in front of the stormtrooper like they are like zombies.
Right.
That's John Bodega in there.
That was quite a shot of Lumpy. I wish we could have paused it. It looks exactly like your mask. Put your mask up.
You're just sick of seeing my face.
Oh yeah. Look at that. That's Lumpy.
I wouldn't be surprised if they in the same way Revenge of the Sith used paintings of Kashyyyk from this.
Yeah.
If
Also,
they just
can we talk about that? Because I've heard that it's supposed to be pronounced Kazook, but it's spelled Kashyyyk.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you spell something Kashyyyyk, it's hard for me to say how you get to Kazook.
So now we're going into the animated section.
Now we got the animated.
Special.
Boba Fett, right?
I bet you liked this as a kid, right?
I'm sure I did.
But
except
again,
the robots are all bendy.
It's just, I mean, again, it's not integrated in world. Because Lumpy's watching this as if it's a news report. But this is actually the first section of the special that's so good I don't care. Like I'll put up with whatever bullshit it's framed by just to see it.
Right.
It's a good choice to do animation.
I mean, we're 50 minutes into a special that has 45 more minutes, and it feels like it's been on for an hour and a half.
This is
already.
The peak of the special, though, Mike. This is a really artfully done cartoon.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It's not as basic or generic as you might think. It's not like Hanna-Barbera. This is like comic book. And they go back to Aurebesh in the graphic, in the
I mean, that shot of that spaceship was the most interesting thing in this entire thing so far.
Yeah. It's just a really good choice because you get to do a legitimate Star Wars adventure with all the voices of the original cast.
Mm-hmm.
With no catches. There's no like. I mean, I guess there are catches in that it's supposed to be a breaking news report.
Right.
Which doesn't make any sense. We've gone silent, Mike, so this must mean that it's good.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, I'm really into it. There's Gertie the dinosaur. I lick your lasers.
There you go.
There he is. The first screen appearance of Boba Fett. I say screen as if he appeared in any other media.
Right.
Despite... There you go. He says,
Nice.
I'm Boba Fett. It's interesting because Boba Fett is never said in The Empire Strikes Back. So, and it's not said again until Return of the Jedi. So, you only know he's Boba Fett through this.
Mm-hmm.
And they already designed the toy. That's the other part of it.
Right.
Isn't that what Lando Calrissian says? You have no more. I take it you have no love of the Empire. Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, C-3PO. I love the fact that even though it's in this and we're in a cartoon, the Boba Fett character is still as cool as he is in every part.
In every, yeah, exactly.
And this character this character is still with us.
Right.
This character is like a huge part of the Mandalorian.
Right.
This is not like a, introducing Ponda Baba or something like that.
Uh-oh.
And dare I say it, this kind of moral ambiguity that's associated with Boba Fett in this cartoon is something we never really got to until The Mandalorian.
Yeah, right.
The sense, is he a hero, is he a villain? When he appears in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, he's just a stone cold villain.
Right. That's a good voice actor right there. I love that.
This
voice.
Is the way. George Lucas should like repackage this and do like a special edition where he can have Tamara Morrison doing the voice and just adding in things like "This is the way."
There you go. There was a little snout thing from Star Wars.
Did you catch the major mythology tweak that they did where C-3PO has to come along because he's the only one who can translate R2?
Translate, yeah.
That's the only time we get clarification on that in the whole franchise.
What is his real plan? Yeah, bum.
So this is the problem here. That Lumpy's reacting as if he's breaking news, and then we get a freeze frame.
Yeah.
It's like, this is why the Star Wars Holiday Special can't have nice things.
That's
it's
right.
Just a cartoon
game
that delivers news in real time.
Right.
I guess that's a pretty good disguise, although, paraphrasing Homer Simpson, it must take an awful strain on the animator's hands. So good.
This is also, I believe, the first time. Isn't this the first time James Earl Jones is credited?
It could be. It probably is because, yeah.
He didn't want to take away from is it Prowse or Prose?
David Prowse, yeah.
So he
But
didn't want to take away from him in the original movie, as I understand it. But by the time this rolled around, everybody was saying, let's talk about your voice. It's like, okay.
well, and David Prowse really pissed people off.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big factor as well, that they were like, even though you're just the guy in the bucket, we were going to give you full credit, but if you're going to act like that, then fuck you.
Right.
Okay, so
we
found the limits of this animation,
Yeah.
and it is in animating Han Solo, who looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Harrison Ford would have made a great live-action Shaggy. Didn't he essentially live his life like that, as I understand it? I think it's almost worth building this awful variety show around this cartoon to make this happen.
Just so it exists?
It's that good.
That was great. The Chewie yell that like blew Han's hair with his little side look.
I know the internal detail here is in advance of anything else you see in the special. And there you go. We've got that relationship between Darth Vader and Boba Fett. So despite disowning this, George Lucas kept a lot of the continuity.
Mm-hmm.
So
he must have liked some of these ideas.
He must, yeah. Speaking of The Mandalorian, it occurred to me that the character of Lumpy is like tugging on all the same heartstrings as Baby Yoda. So, the child. So what is like? Why is it completely numbing?
Bent alone.
Sorry, why doesn't it work?
What's that?
Why doesn't it work here? Like, why don't we feel towards Lumpy the way that we feel towards Baby Yoda, aka the child?
Well, I think maybe part of it is Lumpy is surrounded by far more shit, and Baby Yoda is surrounded by unique and interesting storytelling.
Yep, that'll do it.
You mean the one you messed up? Go clean up my room? The one you trashed? A-hole?
This is why you can never trust white supremacists. Just a reminder, you're watching television. You have not fallen into a fever dream. Another channel logo there.
What are we, friends? Fuck off.
Yeah, I know.
That'll keep him busy for a while.
The number of ill-defined relationships in this special. I'm nice now.
Yeah, right?
Ripped up his toy bantha.
Yeah, poor bantha.
And also, I mean, we'll get to this with the Life in Tatooine segment that's coming up, but...
Well, so let's,
Why
we're just past the hour
thing?
mark, Tom. We're just past the hour mark.
No.
And it's like, we have 37 minutes left at least. Or 35. So...
That's just not possible, Mike.
It just begs one to ask, what the hell else is moving slowly? Happen?
Are you sure you're not counting in parsecs? What's happened?
No, for me, it's like, what else do you have to do?
Oh, for me, it's like, when does this start? And between those two things was born the Star
Here
Wars
we go.
Holiday Special.
He's back.
Harvey Korman
Gotta have the
is...
Corman.
This is Harvey Korman's Doctor Strangelove. So he's a glitching video
robot,
demonstration. Right? Oh, God, imagine if this happened every time you pushed a button in Star Wars.
Whoa.
So his shtick is he speeds up, he slows down, he glitches.
As I remember it, this scene has one joke. Singular. Joke.
All his appearances have one joke.
Yeah, and this joke is robots breaking down.
And he's dancing like a chicken for some reason. This is basically, just to put this in context, Lumpy is starting up a computer. And does this happen every time he plugs it in?
Yeah, right?
Harvey Korman does some very broad physical comedy in front of him. Ouch.
That was classic Harvey right there.
Yeah.
Don't hurt yourself on the ouch.
I also don't know, like, the execution is so poor. I don't know if he's glitching or the video is glitching.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. Like, I think the very least you should demand from a piece of science fiction is that it gives you an in-world explanation for what's going on. And this special patently refuses to do that.
You will wait a long time for that, my friend.
I'd say he was breaking the fourth wall if there was a fourth wall,
right,
at any point in this TV variety show.
I get it.
If Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni are watching this and decide not to sue us on behalf of George Lucas, please, 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 I want to see someone turn something on in The Mandalorian. Harvey Korman comes up just for a second, then you can cut away. We'll get the gag.
All right.
But just for like an instant, someone plugs something in and we see Harvey Korman for a second.
That'd be magic.
And then the character's like, I'm going to be here a while. You go off and do what you need to do. I'll be here for a conservatively
just this
20
part
minutes.
Right here, you know?
And they just keep coming back throughout the episode, and Harvey Korman's still doing his stuff. There's a whole episode there, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
Get to work.
Get to work. Do some fucking work.
Get to work.
It's not enough that you've made the best Star Wars in literally 30 years.
Yeah. We demand more.
Yeah, all going on in the painting of a treehouse.
The painting of the treehouse.
Something else that really kind of holds this back from good storytelling is because of the commercial breaks and the fact that everyone's watching live, you have to repeat everything at the beginning of each act break.
Right.
More outtakes from Star Wars.
More outtakes, right.
I really like the idea of life on Tatooine. Like a condescending reality show about the cantina.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. But again...
Well, apparently they reused all the masks for this scene.
Yeah, it's very clear which are the masks from the original, which are new masks,
Right.
which are masks that have not been stored
There's
properly.
Walrus Man before he loses an
Yeah.
arm, I think. But shouldn't this be after he lost his arm?
Oh well, they have a missed opportunity later on to do a Ponda Baba arm joke that they never do. Harvey Korman again.
Harvey. Now we're talking. Give me
The
Maud.
author.
Give me Maud.
And then there's Maud. There's definitely room in the Star Wars universe for a character like this, and it's in a lot of ways it's what Amy Sedaris is doing in The Mandalorian now.
Yeah.
And I like the idea they just they're turning the cantina into Cheers before there was Cheers.
Right.
Works for me. What's also interesting about this segment is that prior to that, I didn't mean that as a pun. I really didn't. Prior to this, the Richard Pryor show did a sketch about a bartender at the cantina, using all the monsters, and it's the same setup.
Oh, this is a little gross.
So this is not just riffing on the cantina scene, it's also riffing on other people riffing on the cantina scene.
Right. It's also rapidly becoming a Me Too moment, rather.
This is where I begin to understand, like, I can see from what he's done with the franchise why Jon Favreau loves this so much, because there are scenes like this in The Mandalorian, just people hanging out in a bar on Tatooine.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get that he took the very best of this and did it better.
And did it better, right. That's a woman that doesn't want to be touched. Stop it, Harvey. Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Harvey Korman's gag in this scene is that he drinks through his head.
Basically.
Do you think he just, like, at the beginning of every day, he just said, "Okay, what's the joke?" And they said, "You speed up and you slow down, or you drink through your head." And he just did the rest. And they were like, "Well, that's what we told him."
Oh, God. Oh, jeez.
I love that within universe she gets his name wrong.
Yeah.
She gets his stupid name wrong. Now she's pouring a drink into his head. Because if a joke is worth telling, for Harvey Korman, it's worth doing several times in the space of a few minutes. In retrospect, they should have done like an airplane style running gag with this, where like the special ended and it just left with an empty cantina and Harvey Korman pouring a drink into his head.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's a reality show that everyone's watching.
The Atari activated again.
I was kind of engrossed in that. And I'm off to do MacGyver. That's the wrong period, isn't it? Murder, She Wrote. I'm off to do Murder, She Wrote.
I don't.
Still too early. Why
think
can't I
that's
think
still
of
too early,
Rockford
yeah.
Files?
Rockford Files.
You know, and I agree. Not enough was done with this house band.
Mm-hmm. The wall screen said it all. I'll reason with them.
Because, you know, when you saw that cantina scene in the original Star Wars, it must have crossed your mind, like, how does this work on a daily basis?
Yeah.
As a Greedo!
Yep.
Or a
or
God.
a brother or something. Yeah.
We're gonna get so many nasty comments. What are they called?
You mean the species?
Yeah, I don't want to
Oh, I
call
have
him
no
a
idea.
Greedo because that's racist. That's like calling him a. Oh, there's the Devil Man.
Devil Man.
Yeah, who was like just a devil mask from another movie.
Mm-hmm.
So they're reusing masks that were already reused from other stuff. This is literally a scene of any creature that was left in the shop. They put it on screen, and we'll get a startling example of that in a minute.
Let me guess. They just want a song.
See, this is what I mean about you can't have nice things. This is really good, and it would you could totally sell it if it didn't go into a song. That's nice. That's a nice line. And then, oh, they're doing it to the da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
Surely they should have made Diane Carroll and the Jefferson Starship sing to that theme, because that, as I understand it, is the only piece of music in the galaxy. This guy,
but it also occurs to you while you're watching this how smart they were with that first movie and the cantina scene, because you don't see anybody or anything for longer than a second so as not to identify the masks. When you leave it on the people for a while, it doesn't really hold the same effect.
Yeah, don't do it in medium shot, for God's sake.
Yeah, exactly.
They really do only have one song, this band. It's like a joke, I think, in the family.
They look like they were puppet white. Whoa.
B. Arthur and the Giant Mouse are the stuff of nightmares.
Holy shitballs. That took me by surprise.
I know. There is no better example of how this is literally anything that's on the Jim Henson shop floor.
Yeah.
Pick it up, put it in the cantina.
This whole scene's made with discarded puppets that weren't good enough for Jim Henson.
And there's so many opportunities here for like in jokes. Oh no, there he goes. I thought she was gonna like touch his bobbly thing and it make the noise. It does make the noise. And here's Ponda Baba with two arms. That doesn't make a lick of sense.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
But that would have been hilarious if she had to dance with one arm.
He also looks considerably more slight than he did in the original movie.
I say that as I see that Greedo is also alive.
Wow.
Maybe that's a twist that John Favreau
Walrus Man didn't like that at all. You cut in on me? Son of a bitch.
Well, he's agreed. You know, he cut in first.
Guido had like a kind of Sammy Davis
That's
Jr.
Michael
thing going
Myers.
there.
That's Michael Myers from the Halloween movies. Oh, he's wearing a Shatner mask. With all the kind of stormtrooper stuff going on on Kashyyyk, intercut with this, for a second I was like, oh, so this is supposed to be like Cabaret. For a second. Like, it's that
for
kind
the briefest
of going
of moments, I thought we were going to have a cabaret moment.
That kind of like going from like dark repressive regime drama to people singing in a bar.
It was all just to get her to be able to lead them conga line style out the door. Now get the fuck out.
I think there's a lot of potential here. I would have liked to have seen a Cantina sitcom with B. Arthur and Harvey Korman.
Of course you would have.
As long as Harvey Korman was killed off in the first episode. When someone like stuck a piece of wood in his head hole. I mean, it's like they're honing in on something which is quite interesting, which is that there's all these different stories in the cantina that you can tell. And a lot of the kind of Star Wars continuation fiction has been based around the cantina. What?
They should have had the original actor, bartender.
Well, yeah.
In the scene, like as her husband.
That's right.
That would have been great.
And, I was going to say...
Atari screen. Atari alarm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got it. I'm returning to base. Calm down.
So wait, all that Harvey Korman glitching stuff was all to get so they could hack the signal.
You say so.
It's almost worth it. But still not quite worth it. This is a great plan from Lumpy, unless, of course, they hear your transmitter
right
and walk up the stairs and see that you're
being a little asshole. That was quite the long shadow. Why? What are you doing here?
It's not like you've been here for conservatively an hour. Don't you understand what we're trying to tell you with our grunting? Absolutely not. I gotta say, that's pretty mild punishment.
Mm-hmm.
I think a stormtrooper would have...
There we go.
Chewbacca to the rescue. And reluctant Harrison Ford.
Here we go. Oh, Wilhelm
scream.
Wilhelm
See,
scream.
Lumpy doing the tightrope walk on that ledge was all worth it.
To be clear, that stormtrooper fell to his death.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, boy, did he grow. Yeah, because you guys have been gone for years.
I wonder if that line was improv by Harrison Ford because he had trouble lifting that midget acrobat.
That was a quick visit.
Oh, God, I hope so. You wouldn't know it, but I'm joking. Oh. See what
Wow.
is going on between Marla and Han?
Yeah.
It's like they can't even have like a nice moment of
I
like.
think Lumpy might be his kid.
Well, that's going in our picture sequel. Oh, again, they do a real hug here, and we don't see that anywhere else. It's like we're on TV. We can be like emotionally transparent
Right.
because we're in some kind of weird soap opera. Okay, guess I got to spend time with my family for 20 minutes before I go
Damn
to
it.
Hoth.
I can't stay long. Yeah, we know.
That's what he's saying. I will have one piece of the bantha, and then I'm out.
I'll don the red robe.
I'll wrap the Wookiee Ookie to go. My feelings towards you are not clear. Oh.
What the hell?
Again, like, it looks like those two actors, Peter Mayhew and whoever's in Marla.
Look at this
Like,
Wookiee romance.
yeah, that they
That's
were
an
given.
album title, Wookiee romance.
They were given no direction here. There was like, how would Wookiees say, show their love for each other? And
Well, it looked like they were about to kiss for about 7 minutes, and then they thought our mouths aren't built for this.
so what do you think? So far we're 50-50 fake out, real. Oh, there we go. Art Carney.
Art Carney.
We've gone back to fake out. We've seen the same gambit 3 times.
3 times. It's the rule of 3, Tom. Of course, that's supposed to be for comedy. The Atari's going off.
This Imperial officer's like, I haven't had this much work since the Death Star blew up. Hi-oh!
Uh-oh.
And this is where we realize that Art Carney's gags were all to a greater purpose. Pay no attention to the Wookiee in the background.
No, man, he didn't even stay on the screen long enough to get the thank you from Art Carney. Disrespect.
Just in case you forgot who was who.
Right? Punch
whatever
him.
you call that thing you do.
Yeah.
Space Thanksgiving or whatever.
Space Thanksgiving.
There's no one left. Just Wookiees now.
But you have an overwhelming sense of how much Chewbacca would like to leave.
I think this is where I think this is the day that George Lucas came in his cocaine-addled state and was like, like the ceremony at the end of Star Wars, but
only
but
Let's do that, but not
defying all laws of space and time. And they've got these stones, and they put all these stones together, and I'm going to reuse that for an Indiana Jones movie.
I was just gonna say.
Right, it's exactly the same, right?
Yeah, it's
The
Temple of
Shankar
Doom.
stones. Yeah. You're welcome, culture. Yeah, so there you go. Indiana Jones doesn't exist without the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Well, because this came out so early, you wonder if they wanted those Shankar stones in the first movie, and they were like, let's just slow our roll. We'll wait for the second movie.
And now the Wookiees
This doesn't look
transcend.
safe to me.
They transcend all space and time with the aid of the Shankar stones. They're all in
Was
these
the whole
red.
planet waiting for Chewie, by the way? Because they must be so pissed.
Can you imagine if you were waiting for Chewie every time you had to do this?
This is inside the star.
I love that up until this point, the only sense we've got of what Life Day is Space Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly it's like a satanic ritual. They're all in red robes holding Shankar stones.
And of course, we're going to sacrifice these two droids.
See, protocol droid. That's protocol. Right. Let's drop that mythology.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's all your questions about the sentience of droids are answered. They're not alive.
Why'd Han leave just to come back?
He left his keys in the Falcon, seemingly. Shit, I left my furry dice. You read that auto cue, Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
This is the promise of the Tree of Life. That's maybe my last impasse. It must be a sequel because we're talking about an entirely new thing as if it has been established previously. Nobody mentioned the Tree of Life.
Sing it directly into the camera.
Now, I'm not...
This is what brought her in. She said, I'll do it, but I have to sing a song.
Oh,
Han was respectfully closing his eyes.
Harrison Ford was literally falling asleep on camera.
Yeah.
And how far apart was this filmed from the last time we saw Mark Hamill? He has a different haircut, different makeup, and a different face. Now, I'm not a professional singer, but this doesn't seem a particularly difficult song to sing, and yet she's completely off key.
Right. No. Give her a break, though. She's barely conscious, I imagine.
That's right. We talked in a previous podcast about whether slow motion was ever appropriate. We just had a little bit of inappropriate slow motion there. Yeah, she's not following that music, is she?
Nope.
She's essentially scatting over that music.
It looked like that hand was going to pleasure Chewbacca for a second, though. Oh, now we have our familiar hero music.
It's like someone get medals?
Yeah, right?
Even on Life Day, Chewie doesn't even get a medal. It takes...
this is your holiday. We're
only
Lupita
Nyong'o can give him a medal. It is written in the books of Wookie. Only Lupita Nyong'o can give you a medal. Oh no, this is my last imbas. Hollow Chess.
There you go.
There must be a sequel because it ends with a highlights package featuring footage from the original movie.
I wonder how much Alec Guinness was paid for that.
Well, he did well off he got points on the.
Yeah, he got. I remember maybe it was supposed to be 2%, 2 points or something like that. And then at some point they said, hey, we're going to give you an extra 0.5%. And then the movie came out and, of course, was gangbusters. And he was like, let's put down on paper that extra 0.5%, shall we?
Yeah, and I believe even more than that when they said, so what about that 1/4 point?
Yeah, exactly. When he brought it up. Yeah, that's right. That is part of the story.
I mean,
should we he said something like, should we put that extra % down on paper? And he goes, oh yeah, you mean the 1/4%?
Mm-hmm. I mean, he rewrote all his dialogue, as I understand it, so that it made sense.
Right.
So that it sounded like a human was speaking. So that was all Chewbacca's memories, right? That highlight package?
It must have been. I also like, by the way, that this on YouTube, it says the Star Wars Holiday Special, the 1978 nice copy.
Yeah, there must be.
It's all relative.
And then an asterisk that says that is not a comment on the quality of the content. Again,
they're bowing their heads.
Yeah, so we're back to space Thanksgiving. We've done our satanic. We've sacrificed our droids. Now it's time to eat the bantha, carve the bantha.
Oh, mercy. Well, that was Patty Maloney. Oh, wow. That was something else.
Wow.
Well, what say you, sir?
Okay, well let's do Steve Bender. There we go. There's good or bad.
Well, it's bad.
It's bad. Is it so bad it's good?
Ah, man.
Bob Mackie.
Man, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to decide.
Can you imagine anything more bad? The answer is none.
No.
None more bad.
Right. It would be you'd be hard pressed to make something this bad even on purpose. And the thing is
you're speaking my language.
It is pretty deliciously bad, but I'm tired right now. I'm tired.
I mean,
it's just so fucking long. So I don't know that it gets up to so bad it's good.
That's a very good point, and I think what was kind of behind doing this, at least for me, was if you want people to watch this, it's better that we're here to take you through it. Right. Because the prospect of sitting alone watching this thing, because basically, if you have time to do that, you don't have family or meaningful relationships in your life. It's much better that with
you don't like anybody and nobody likes you.
Yeah, I think I'm also gonna err on the side of it's probably not just bad enough. I can't imagine anything worse. But when we did Troll 2, we talked about how if you see incompetence, if incompetence gets in the way, it can't be so bad it's good. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Like if not everything is in that sublime, so bad it's good bracket.
Right. But that's a very similar movie where we both really enjoyed Troll 2 because it's as bad as it is, but
Yeah, so if we enjoyed that more, there's no way this is so bad it's good.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's that one cleared up.
Done.
Did this go up and down in your Star Wars rankings after watching it again?
The thing is like in the prequels, there are moments I can pick out that I like.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
But they're very few and far between. And oh man. I still think there's forgiveness in this because they decided to mesh two things together that just don't work together. The Star Wars world and variety shows. That's not something you think of as a
Hey,
natural.
the Muppets did it and they did it fine. I don't think that's a get out for them.
Yeah,
you see,
that's
the
true.
Muppet Star Wars special is just shows you exactly how that should be done.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's hard to believe, but the Muppets Star Wars special is more of a legitimate
Right.
piece of TV variety Star Wars movie hybrid than the Star Wars Holiday Special, which was the whole point.
Yes.
The Muppets were just doing a show with Mark Hamill.
Oh,
yeah, I mean,
shit.
it hasn't changed for me. I would put it above the prequels and the sequels, but not above the first three movies.
Okay.
It's just and I love Solo and I love the Mandalorian,
Mm-hmm.
but they're so informed by this, I can't disconnect them.
Right.
It's difficult to know where to put those films anyway.
Well, I was just gonna say they're such separate entities. Like, do you consider Solo and Rogue One as sequels?
Rogue One more than Solo. I think Solo is a spin-off. I think Rogue One is a prequel in continuity, which we've chosen to accept as a sequel.
True.
At least on this podcast. Otherwise, we wouldn't have done Tremors 4: The Legend Begins. But yeah. Yeah, I think I'm still gonna put in. It's still better. It's better than J.J. Abrams. It's better than. I don't want to give away too much about how I feel about the Star Wars movies.
Right. Yeah.
But to me, in my head, it's part of that. It's the missing piece of the puzzle of original Star Wars into nonsense, batshit crazy Star Wars.
Right.
But it's got nothing to do with what J.J. Abrams does with the franchise. And what's his name? The other guy.
Ryan.
Last Jedi. What's his name?
Ryan.
Brian.
Shit.
Rian Johnson.
Johnson.
Or Rian Johnson, or whatever.
Yeah.
The guy who did the 8 movies. Okay, so that's cleared up.
If you say so.
Stay tuned for more on where we will rank this. So are we going to include this in our rankings? I think we have to, right?
I mean,
having done conservatively 3 hours of broadcasting on it.
Right. Well, what the hell? Why not?
Why not? Yeah, we put it in there. I think it's like a spirit level, like a spirit level. It's kind of like you got to know where that.
I mean, in the Psycho series, we did something made directly for television.
We did.
So.
And
wow.
And we do video sequels. I don't think, in essence, this is much different. There's not as much singing and dancing in most video sequels.
I'll say.
Okay, so pitch a sequel. You have anything you want to throw? I mean, we've already got Han is the father of Lumpy.
Yeah.
Which explains a lot.
I certainly like that idea.
That explains a lot.
I got to be honest. I hadn't given it much thought. My ideas were more revolving around, who would you get to be in it?
Yeah.
Or to write for it, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I see clearly Sarah Silverman being involved.
We should also mention that there is a new Star Wars holiday special coming out this year.
Oh,
Yeah, the Lego Star Wars holiday special is on Disney, premiering on Disney Plus this year.
well, all right. I did not
And
know
it's
that.
Jon Favreau is behind it. And I'm excited. I'm excited because
that might be kind of fun.
yeah, I believe at the very least there will be an acknowledgement that the original Star Wars holiday special exists.
Yeah, like if I was to make a sequel to this, I would want Jon Favreau in charge.
Mm-hmm.
But I would keep, the special guest stars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, so my idea was to really just, do what pretty much all the sequels we've looked at do. So this, if you see this as like as the bridge between Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back.
And who doesn't?
And who doesn't? Apart from every single
George
Star
Lucas
Wars fan.
himself and every person that's ever seen it or been involved with it. Go on.
Then the sequel to this could be the bridge between Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. And you have it as the life day between Empire Strikes Back and
Oh no, you meant
Empire and Jedi.
Empire and Jedi, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's set a day later. Let's do that. No. Let's Karate Kid 2 this fucker. It
starts with it starts with Luke and Leia having sex.
So it's the life day between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And this time, Chewbacca can't come back for Life Day because he's got to go and rescue Han Solo.
Because he's preparing.
So he sends a message via microwave screen to Marla Lucci, whatever the fuck that guy. His family. His family of nonsense. Itchy Mala Lumpy. He I don't know how we learn this because they'll all be grunting. So I don't know how we figure out what's happening. But he's basically maybe he holds up a picture of Han Solo and they're like, oh, Han Solo's here. And he's like, no, it's a photograph. But he says, he's frozen in carbonite. I got to go Tatooine to rescue him so I can't come back. And what factors in nicely is that Marla knows that Han Solo's the real father of Lumpy. And
okay,
so in my sequel, they contact Art Carney through the Atari screen, and he helps them travel to Tatooine. So they're trying to intercept him
I see. Okay,
they want to intercept him and have a Life Day celebration on Tatooine before he goes off to rescue Han Solo.
You mean so just not near Jabba's palace?
Right. So what do you think? What would be like a place that has food and drink making equipment on Tatooine that could accommodate them? I think we know the answer. And a hospitable host.
For sure.
The cantina.
Perfect.
So this allows. So they're like, oh, they go to Tatooine. They go to the cantina. They're like, oh, we want to have this Life Day celebration. B. Arthur's like, well, it's been closed since last year's Life Day. So let's reopen it and have Life Day here. We can have an anniversary of when we closed. We learn what's, the Sam and Diane act between Harvey Korman and B. Arthur. That's
nice.
That's continued. Although I don't know who's Sam and who's Diane in that. But anyway, we learn about that. But Boba Fett, not in cartoon form, is like lurking around Tatooine, hoping to get the drop on Chewbacca before he comes to Jabba's palace, and then get the bounty on him. But he goes to the cantina and finds Marla, Itchy, and Lumpy. So he kidnaps them and tries to get word to Chewbacca that I have your family.
Holy shit.
I'll trade you. And then Princess Leia, disguised as the bounty hunter from Return of the Jedi that she pretends to be in Jabba's palace, intervenes and she says, okay, we'll trade you, but the only condition is I've got Chewbacca. I'll bring him to Jabba's palace for you and you can claim the bounty, or we'll split the bounty or whatever. I don't even know what's really going on at the beginning of Return of the Jedi, so whatever. We could mess with it however we want to. I don't know who's getting what bounty, why Boba Fett is now suddenly Jabba's right-hand man, who knows. And she says, but the only condition that we have is the family get to celebrate Life Day together here in the cantina before you take him.
All right.
And then that's essentially the end of the movie. And then the movie basically ends with Chewbacca being put in restraints and taken off to Jabba's palace, having not missed Life Day with his family.
But don't you, did I hear you wrong, or did you say that Princess Leia was giving him to Boba Fett?
Yeah, but you know,
she shows up at the palace with Chewie.
Well, so she manages to let Marla, Itchy, and Lumpy know that she's really Princess Leia, and she's like, look, you know, this is all a setup. We're just going to pretend that Chewbacca's in, but we have to make Boba Fett think that I'm a bounty hunter and that I'm bringing him in.
Okay, yeah.
So she's playing both sides.
Right.
She's doing her yate, you too.
Yate. Which seems to me like 43 different sentences that those
Yes, yate, you too. I'm really Princess Leia. It's all okay. Like that. That's how it's going to go. So yeah, that's essentially the movie. And it's just, you know, and then you know, that we can even end with him walking into Jabba's palace and the little droid.
It's a winner.
Blinky. It could go Blinky and then end. And then directed by George
Favreau.
That's my idea. Do you anything you want to add to that as a
Fuck no.
I bet you're impressed I've given it that much thought.
Yeah, I'd given it no thought. Clearly.
Well, you came up with the key point. Well, because yeah, the subtext of all this, I don't know how we'll suggest it further, but
Careful.
Marla wants somewhere in that Marla's trying to get a message to Han Solo in Carbonite that he's the father of Lumpy.
It's programmed in.
Maybe that's why he's so confused when he comes out of Carbonite and there's Chewie there. He's like, Chewie, I didn't touch her, honestly.
I swear.
I swear, she came on to me.
She was looking good that night. It's not my fault.
You can't resist her either.
Just add to the Me Too movement.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah, it's a winner.
I think so.
Yeah.
So let's do some promotion. If you're at this point, you're probably ready for one of our 45-minute podcasts.
I'll say.
You passed the test. You passed the Kobayashi. Oh, wrong franchise. Hey. None of your Trek nonsense here. So everything sequel. We release episodes every other week.
Mm-hmm.
We do all the sequels of a given movie. Where you can find us on Facebook at Everything Sequel.
Absolutely.
Twitter at Everything Sequel. And Instagram at Everything Sequel.
Hell yes.
You're either watching this on our YouTube channel or Facebook page, so you'll already know about our YouTube channel. And beyond that, our email, everythingsequel@gmail.com.
You can see the lengths we go to try to give you the best quality.
We've given you an entirely visual experience. I think you'll agree. You were promised the Star Wars holiday special. We showed you literally none of that. But we gave you silence and us occasionally going, Harvey Korman!
Yeah. Right. I can't express how important it will be for you to listen to this as you watch.
Yes. This is a dual.
I probably should have
experience.
mentioned that at the beginning.
Oh, and people know if they found their way here, they'll get the memo.
Oh, good.
And then look out for the How Dare You podcast, which
Yes.
which will be up and running when this is released.
Right around when this drops. Yeah.
Yeah. So look out for that. I'm Lonesome Whistle Productions. That we also have a YouTube channel. So check that out too. You can see some of what I do when I'm not dressed as Princess Leia.
Yeah, check out Tom's Godfather 1 part.
Oh yeah, that works. And
Some
the Bond
good
show and lots of. Not that you need to hear me talk more about James Bond if you already follow this podcast, but you can have a whole hour of that.
You can have a whole bit, yeah.
But that's all.
That's it, I think.
That's all from me. I don't think there's any more to say about.
Oh, we've said it all. We're pushing 2.5 hours.
Yeah. You're getting your no money's worth. And that's in Republic credits.
Yeah, absolutely. Spend it as you wish.
Which is indistinguishable from Bitcoin, in that they are both fictional and have no actual monetary value.
Well, we know where Tom stands. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this special episode of the Everything Sequel podcast, the Star Wars Holiday Special Edition. For Tom Stewart from Lonesome Whistle Productions, I am Michael Shantz from the How Dare You Awards. Say goodbye, Tom.